Welcome to This Explainer, everyone. I'm so pumped to share this story with you today. We're looking at a historical and spiritual figure who literally possessed unmatched power and profound wisdom. I'm talking about Prophet Sulaiman, or as he's widely known, Solomon. Being the son of Prophet Dawood, he didn't just inherit a crown, he inherited a massive legacy. His reign was absolutely unprecedented in human history, backed by an army and an intellect that honestly just defied the laws of nature.
Okay, let's dive into this. Just think about it for a second. What kind of king commands not just men, but the skies and the unseen world? Throughout this explainer, we're going to take a pretty wild journey. We'll start by looking at the macro, like the sweeping, gigantic scale of an empire that literally broke the laws of physical reality. And then, we're going to zoom all the way down to the micro level, where the true, breathtaking character of this legendary leader is actually revealed.
Section 1. The Ultimate Monarch, a Magnificent Empire.
So when we think of standard historical monarchs, we usually picture borders, taxation, strictly human armies, right? Well, Prophet Suleiman's authority was incredibly different. His foundation was this gift of deep wisdom and insight right from childhood. From a really young age, the source texts tell us he was renowned for his extraordinary intelligence. And actually, it wasn't just basic statecraft, it was a deep spiritual insight. Because of this, he was granted an empire where he possessed a truly unique, divine ability. He could literally understand the languages of animals, decode the complex communication of birds, and even converse with the hidden, unseen creatures of the earth. Just imagine sitting on a throne where your subjects aren't just human citizens, but the entire natural and supernatural world around you. No way, right?
Now, what's really interesting about this is when you compare his rule to normal historical kingdoms. Think of the grand empires of Rome, Persia, or Egypt. They relied entirely on armies of men. But for Prophet Sulaiman, his forces were composed of armies of men, sure, but also armies of jinn, these hidden supernatural beings, and literal armies of birds. We're talking about a massive, multi-species, supernatural scale that no other ruler in human history has ever commanded. It's just mind-blowing.
Section 2. An unprecedented army, the forces of jinn and birds.
I really want you to picture this in your mind's eye for a second. Because as we get into the specifics of this massive force, the reality of it is, well, it's incredibly intimidating. This wasn't just a large gathering of troops. This was a literal cosmic alignment of forces standing shoulder to shoulder, shaking the earth beneath their feet. His army was broken down into these incredible divisions. We have humans serving in the ranks, highly disciplined and ready. But then we have the jinn. The source texts tell us these unseen entities were tasked with monumental feats, like building massive structures entirely beyond normal human capabilities and reaching distant lands in the blink of an eye. And above them, the birds. They weren't just flying around randomly. They were flying in perfect disciplined rows, acting as scouts and actually shielding the immense army below from the sun. The sky and the earth just working in perfect unison.
It was an entire supernatural army that obeyed a single command. The absolute authority Prophet Sulaiman held over this terrifyingly huge force is staggering. Just one word from him, and humans, jinn, and thousands of birds moved as one unified machine. The ground literally trembled with their march, the skies darkened with their wings, and the natural and supernatural realms bent seamlessly to his will.
Section 3. The Valley of Ants.
Now here is where our story takes a really brilliant and surprising turn. We're shifting swiftly from the grand, intimidating macro scale of this unstoppable army all the way down to the absolute micro scale. Imagine the earth trembling, the sheer deafening noise of men, jinn, and beasts marching together. And then, right in the path of this juggernaut, lies a tiny valley. As the immense, world-shaking army approaches, kicking up clouds of dust and shaking the bedrock, Prophet Sulaiman's unique gift kicks in. Amidst the deafening roar of his kingdom's military might, he hears something microscopic. A tiny, frantic voice cuts right through the marching of giants.
Suddenly, a frantic, high-stakes warning rings out from a tiny ant to its colony. It says, "O ants, enter your dwellings, lest Sulaiman and his army crush you without even knowing." Just pause and think about the sheer vulnerability of this creature for a second. It knows it's completely invisible to these giants. It knows that this massive army wouldn't even realize they were stepping on them. It is literally a moment of absolute life and death for this tiny, fragile civilization. And this brilliantly illustrates the true nature of this monarch. The king who commands the winds simply smiles. He doesn't ignore the voice. He doesn't just march on out of arrogance or indifference. This world-altering monarch, who literally commands supernatural entities and the forces of nature, completely halts his massive army. He stops a march that makes the earth tremble, all out of concern for a single insect. He smiles at the ants' warning, fully recognizing the delicate balance of life and the immense responsibility his power brings.
So, synthesizing everything we've learned, we see this stunning contrast. Macro power versus micro compassion. On one hand, you have the ability to command jinn and the winds, which is a level of authority completely unmatched in history. On the other hand, you have the micro compassion required to listen, to hear, and save a single ant. It demonstrates perfectly how true power isn't about dominance or mindless destruction. It's perfectly and beautifully balanced by deep, profound empathy for the weakest among us.
Section 4. The Secret of Saba.
Let's move on and see how this builds, because of course, this incredible miracle in the valley was just the beginning. This demonstration of wisdom and empathy was really just one milestone in a much larger, epic saga that was unfolding. As we zoom back out to the vast horizon, our map points towards a distant, unknown land. Prophet Sulaiman's journey was far from over. There were deeper mysteries to uncover and a specific destination waiting for him over the horizon, way beyond his current borders.
Which brings us to our final, massive question for today's explainer. What secret lies in the distant land of Saba with Queen Bilqis? The sources point towards a profound mystery, a highly powerful queen ruling a distant empire, and an upcoming encounter that is going to test all of Prophet Sulaiman's wisdom and authority. Who exactly was Queen Bilqis? What in the world was happening in the enigmatic land of Saba? I'm going to leave you with that massive question to ponder. Thank you so much for joining me in exploring these incredible sources today, and stay curious.